distinguished awardees and dear friends, when I was thinking of the talk to this audience, you have to realize that this is a very difficult audience in which to speak about human rights, because you are people who are doing things, understand the concepts of human rights in the world. And I was going to call the talk "The Care and Feeding of Human Rights." And then as I was perusing the subject, it occurred to me that maybe there is not in the world a clear definition of human rights, at least not as I as a Baha'i understand them. And that we ought to talk a little bit about the shifting sands of the definition of human rights. For even, I believe, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights does not cover the subject fully. Let me give you an example of what I mean about the shifting sands of the definition of human rights. That is to say, will we know human rights when we see them? That implies that we've not seen them all yet. And I have some evidence to present, which I think is convincing, that human beings' ideas of what are and what are not human rights change over time. And it is this change that we need to have an awareness of if we are to go confidently into the future and secure those as yet undefined rights for human beings. Human rights, at least in this nation, have been defined classically by the legal system and by political scientists as those which arise out of the natural order of things. Now, the natural order of things a couple of centuries ago may be different from the natural order of things now. And as one minister, when he was talking to his congregation, admonished them one morning, saying, "Now, if you don't feel as close to God today as you did before, who moved?" So if our notions of human rights are not the same now as they were before, who is it that has grown into an appreciation of what constitute these basic human rights? Is the natural order of things today what it used to be? There is a statement in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights echoing what appears in the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. And then those rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in our Declaration of Independence are set forth. Now you have to consider what they were talking about, these wise men of that century. When they said all men, they didn't mean all men, and they certainly didn't mean women. What they meant was white males who owned property. Now, that was the natural order of things. And human rights existed then for white males that owned property. I dare say that in this modern age, we think of human rights on a broader scale of the natural order of things. Your chairperson announced at the beginning a series of United Nations conferences and summits on various issues over the past decade or so. And they concerned such things as the issues of children, of the environment, and of women. Well, when the framers of our Constitution were talking, children had no human rights, the environment had no rights, and certainly women had no or not very many distinguishing rights. Is the natural order of things now different? I submit to this audience the recognition of that truth is self-evident. But are there rights out there which yet we do not envision? You see, when we talk now in political terms, and even in terms of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, we're talking about civil and political rights, or we're talking about social and economic rights, all of which are very valid things for human beings to have. But are those all of the rights that are attendant to human life? And I would like to pose to you that there is yet an undefined right that has not come into public consciousness. It's a delight to be a Baha'i and to address the subject of human rights from a consciousness which I found changed from my earlier perceptions of the natural order of things. Human rights are God-given rights. That's what it says in our papers that founded this government. It is acknowledged almost everywhere that these rights are inalienable, that they come by the nature of being human, that at birth you get something that the other kingdoms of existence don't, and those things you can't give away or you can't have taken from you legitimately, and that they vest with you throughout your life. But with